I've been reflecting on where I'm currently at on my personal vocal journey and starting to feel that it would be really helpful to bring more of a visual sense to what that actually looks like at this point in time. And if I were to translate that into a map or a drawing, what would that actually look like? And just to clarify, the idea of journeying with true voice is something that really came about through my early period of active, focused effort in vocal development and exploration, and having a breakthrough experience which awakened me to a sense of my true voice. So I named it, and I gave it a title to solidify that concept and create an anchor point for me, and that's kind of formed the basis of how I have communicated my continued interest in this work, and really what has brought me into a research focus with holistic voice work as a tool to support personal development, and using the voice as the main vehicle through which to do that, and has been the underpinning of the creation of a vocal learning methodology called 5 Elements of Voice Work. So that's the context of where the journey began for me. And there's this sense often of, your starting point and then your trajectory, and that there's maybe an idea that this is a timeline, or something. You're moving, traveling through time, and certainly in resonance with life and how life behaves, that line is not necessarily straight. And at least in my experience, it's not been a straight journey. There's been lots of ups and downs and twists and turns. And I often come back to this idea of a spiral as a kind of an overarching pattern of movement, because that feels like that accurately reflects the touch points where you circle back again and again to specific themes or ideas. You return to ideas, and that there's a seasonality to our learning and evolution and experiences. So with that being said, I was thinking about all of the branches that have sprung forth from what could be considered the central line or the main highway. So all of these other specific themes or topics that have been centered really and rooted in voice and vocal development have had distinct flavors and differences. So it's starting to visually, the best way to explain it is that there is the main trunk or branch of the tree, and there are all these other pathways that are branching off and going in different directions, but all connected to and all returning to being associated with the same central theme. And in that sense, it's interesting to think about the evolution of an idea and the coming back to what your timeline is, because when you have a clear destination or focus in mind, or a goal, for example, there's a reasonable amount of planning that you can do to create overspill or create margins for, unplanned, unforeseen circumstances that might delay your process. That's certainly part of good planning and preparation. But the nature of inquiry and research and personal evolution, and all the places that takes you to, really does lead to this idea that you are working within a space that there's a degree of impetus connected to that energy that is, not out with your control, but that you are a participant exploring a question or an idea, and you are the choice agent in deciding whether to go down certain pathways to pursue a deeper exploration of something, or to go down that rabbit hole. And also that there are certainly a few surprises along the way, of forks in the roads, twists and turns, side quests. Big fan of a side quest, but that some of those are choices that you are making actively and consciously in that moment, and some are just, it's the lay of the land, and it is a groove in the path that maybe has been laid out for you, that in that particular moment in time your hand is forced, or like a maze, you have to go that way. So there's definitely been a few of those experiences thrown into the mix as well. And so I found myself earlier just taking a quick note of like what have been some of the most significant alternate routes, or if we're thinking about this this river being the kind of the body or the field of research that we are swimming in, how often do we take an opportunity to come ashore and to explore these other avenues and ideas, and how many times distinctly do I feel like I've done that along this this process of learning, and how can they be categorized? And so this is like a first consolidation of starting to think in this way, translating it into this visual sense of not just being towards an intended goal, but actually allowing there to be organic movement and evolution in that exploration as well, which leads to all of these other networks emerging. And only by taking space to take inventory and have check-in points and reflect on, okay, what was my starting point, and is my ultimate North Star, shall we say, something that I'm still connected to? Am I still being guided by that, driven towards that, and taking space to continue checking in, so that it's like, am I on track? Am I still aligned with my focus or my purpose? And then also the nature of being able to zoom out and get a sense of where you are in space and time in relation to your pursuits, and maybe what at the time felt like something that didn't make sense. starts to connect with these other branches that have emerged, and then it's easier to start to see the patterns and relationships between these different points. Where do they converge and cross over? And was there a theme? Was there a specific point of the process and the learning that kind of brought you full circle to another idea? Or so reflecting on the kind of central points so far, in no particular order: becoming a facilitator, moving into a role of teaching and holding space for others. So the central guiding force underpinning that, obviously running alongside, parallel to, but also that was a distinctly different quality, different flavor. A side quest of acquiring new skills and having to get one's head around what does that actually mean, to teach and to support, and what kind of facilitator do I want to be. So that's an ongoing process, but certainly definitely a branch there that was a kind of a journey in and of itself and continues to be. So I think each of these aspects that I'm highlighting are almost like, in the grand scheme of things, like miniature journeys within the bigger journey. Becoming a researcher. So as to a starting point with that one, I mean, even the nature of a curious mind, really, it's like, how do we define what a researcher is? A child with curiosity is as much a researcher as an academic in an institution. So yes, but actually scaling that up and bringing it into a shared context, and presenting ideas to other people, and not just going out and gathering the information, but translating that. And again, different skill set, different quest, but still coming back to that main question or focus. Creating a learning methodology as well. Like, although there is definitely crossover with the research and the facilitation, actually consolidating, distilling, refining ideas, and how can those be formulated into a model, and how can that reflect concepts that you wish to share with others, and that as your kind of starting point, and then who does this need to be shared with. So that process is still very, very much ongoing, and I'm quite immersed in that space at the moment as I integrate some other fields of work into the kind of things that I've already created, and starting to think about how to bring that into a collaborative space as well, and how to work with other creators and to skill share there. The journey of being a performing musician, in relation to the parallel of continuing to work with voice and explore vocal development, and having that performance centered practice as a way of being able to invite ideas and concepts from that space and put them into my identity as a creative practitioner and a performance practitioner. And then all of the other things that have created a disruption, really, I guess, for that particular space. One of them being a vocal health journey. And that was certainly branching off as a very specific event or period of time. However, the point at which that happened for me, it's like come back full circle. So kind of going out to the side there and having to really throw myself into a new space of understanding and thinking about voice, that has rejoined the main watercourse. So everything that I've learned on that particular pathway has come back into everything that I'm sharing now. So in that sense, it's like, yes, a shift in direction, but ultimately very, very much a supportive additional set of tools that then contribute towards that forward momentum and motion towards the kind of ultimate questions and goals that I've been exploring and continue to do so. And I would say that's really true of all of these different branches that I'm highlighting here, but it's probably easiest to articulate using the vocal health as an example, because, it's like, okay, we need to go off and do a little bit of learning and acquisition and, therapeutic rehabilitation work, and then kind of feeding that back into your kind of forward motion, and then continuing on that kind of theme of rehabilitation and topics of a therapeutic healing nature, and also just things that are very, very personal to me but have a flavor of trauma. So sexual assault and termination of pregnancy, two big life events that have certainly been massive side quests, and what's the word I'm looking for, which perfectly summarizes it? Learning curves. So there's the main river, and then this is a tributary that is taking you on an alternative route, but ultimately still being pulled or guided by the purposeful path that I had, I guess, made a decision to align with, and that has been the kind of guiding principle, or the focus of whatever else is going on and whatever else I'm being asked to explore or learn, and whatever else is being thrown at me by life, that I'm still coming back to and tapping into that space. So quite heavy subjects, but definitely with the emphasis and focus of the way I think about life, with the voice as the exploration tool, to deeply interesting subjects to consider within that framework, and honestly think that having the voice there as that reference point, and knowing my voice and knowing the shifts and changes possible, and also being introduced to new shifts and changes that come through different life experiences, really those were hugely transformative and informative events in my life that have of course I've fed those back into this work, because I'm also inviting in my lived experience as a woman, exploring this particular pathway and giving voice to those experiences as well, because I believe that's an important part of growth, transformation, and personal healing. And yeah, more recently, with the theme of a general health journey, like a physical health and well-being journey, I'm exploring alcohol-free as a way of meeting life and engaging with life. And I would say this is very, very early stages into this part of the journey, and it's certainly something that I know is going to take a shape of its own, but also is very much running parallel to this central theme of vocal exploration, and what is my true voice, and what is the true voice for me, because there's such a close relationship with that, connected to the physiological impacts of that engagement. So yeah, so as you can see, lots of different processes occurring simultaneously, and tying all this together has also been the journey of becoming a business owner. So as I'm sitting here now and relaying all of these different insights, which are very personal to me, I'm also trying to present them from a practitioner perspective, and to share them through a platform, which I believe is the best way to share and disseminate ideas, and to utilize that in a way that can be supportive and encouraging, inviting other people to consider exploring holistic voice work as a personal development and learning pathway, with the knowledge that all these other things that perhaps seem at first unrelated, if we're really thinking about what is voice, and is voice everything that I am, and through that holistic lens of what are all the different aspects and elements that make up my expression, and how I choose to communicate and navigate and make my way in the world, that actually giving voice to those, giving space to those, and acknowledging that they are all part of this wonderful, beautiful, strange tapestry of experience, that actually that gives us an opportunity to honor those parts and to make sense of them by, sometimes creating names for things and giving something, assigning something a category can be really helpful and supportive to provide context to help us think about, where am I right now and what is going on for me, and also to use that often as a check-in point, especially when we're having challenging points where we feel like things are not progressing as quickly as we would like them to, or that we're meeting lots of challenges, or, things feel like they're stalling. Where have we come from? Where are we going to? What else have we been doing? How have we been spending our energy? What have we been applying our focus to? So that's certainly something that I feel I'm doing at the moment on a personal level, and using the business business development and what's involved in terms of actually building and creating a business, and that being a solo pathway initially, until the infrastructure and resources are present to be able to bring other support into that, and to actually have that operating as a system that includes other people within that. That's certainly been really helpful in terms of being able to map and to see relationship between different elements, and to get more of a sense of what is the process here, what are the processes that are ongoing and flowing. So this is a life path journey really that I'm sharing with you, and also I know that as things change and as I change and grow and develop, that my way of reflecting on this, the language that I'm using, all of that is going to shift and change. So it's also an opportunity for me to have a space where I can really be visible and have accountability, and get comfortable with showing up and being present and communicating all of these weird and wonderful shifts, so that I've got a reference point of for myself, but also to demonstrate really that all of the things that I'm working on with a view to share with others, it's like insights into what is really involved in that. I feel it gives a realistic picture, and it communicates honestly the process, and that I want to ensure that I'm bringing a human element into every aspect of the work I do, because it's, you're infusing it with and sharing your energy with other people, and trying to promote tools and resources that are awakening that for other people. So it feels good to me to be able to speak in this way, and just to give some insight, and I hope that some of these reflections are interesting for you, maybe they're useful. There's no limit to the scope of who these messages may reach and what benefit they may have. So in that sense, it's my intention and wish to keep the flow of communication as open and transparent as possible, and hope that that also does provide an invitation for anyone that feels curious about this work or feels that they would like to reach out and know more about what I'm offering, know more about what holistic voice work is, how it might be able to support you. I'm just sharing from where I'm at currently on the journey, and really invite and encourage you to get in touch if you feel that this work would be helpful for you at this particular point in time. And I look forward to hearing from you, and until next time.